Hey, thoughtful gardeners, do you want to take your existing planters from this to this? Stay tuned. Guys, this is the Thoughtful Gardener, and I have been collecting all kinds of things from my own yard. You do not have to be fancy dancy with this. You can reuse ornaments, you can reuse things that are in your garden to make a really pretty arrangement. And that's what I've done here. I've gone around my yard and I've cut things that look really spectacular in winter. Now, evergreens are wonderful additions to things like this, and we're going to use today boxwoods and our golden mop for a little pop of color. Holly bushes also look amazing, and then you want to think about seeds and berries. So we're going to use Carolina allspice, as well as beautyberry could potentially be used if you have any left, as well as holly and winterberry. Winterberry is really spectacular this time of year. It puts on a gorgeous show when not much else is going on in the garden. In addition, we're going to be using one of my favorites, the red twig dogwood. If you don't have red twig dogwood in your garden, get into your garden. Let me tell you why. This plant looks incredibly spectacular in arrangements like this, but it also looks spectacular in indoor arrangements. And if you get snow like we do, it is magnificent in the snow. It just pops right against that white snow. So gorgeous, gorgeous addition if you're looking for a shrub layer for your native plant garden. The first thing we're going to want to do is clean up the existing planter. Now, everything in here just recently died. We've had annuals and different things that I've switched out through the seasons. It's done. These are what they're called hay racks. I really love them. I can see this right from my kitchen windows. It's really neat. I actually really love it too because I put things in it that attract hummingbirds and butterflies in the season, and they come up to this porch, which is really a lot of fun. So we're going to take apart the existing one first, and then we'll get started. Stay with me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is clean up, and so you're going to need a pair of secateurs or sharp clippers, and we're just going to remove everything. Now you might be wondering why I did not remove the soil. Well, we're going to need that soil to hold in these different cuttings. In addition, we're going to need that soil to provide moisture. These things are still alive, so we definitely want to feed them. So I've gone around, I've collected lots of different foliage in here, and I've piled it up by the type of foliage it needs. So I'm going to work and we'll talk at the same time. So one of the most beautiful and easy things to do is boxwood. Now, if you are doing boxwood, I recommend you trim very deep inside so you get a long branch like this for things that are overgrown perhaps, but we want to keep the boxwood looking nice. And so I've cut some really long lengths here so I can reuse these. Now, when you're cutting them, if you're going to cut them to stick in the plant, you want to make them sharp. So we're going to cut everything at an angle. Now, this is got little tiny branches here at the bottom. We just want to remove those because we need the area, the surface area, to go down in the soil. Cutting them at an angle will also help them take up the moisture that's left in the soil. We are going to water it at the end. Now, this is for me to enjoy from my kitchen window, so I have faced this way. However, if it was on the front of your home, obviously, you'd like to face it the other way. One thing I had considered was taking off this hay rail and turning it around so that we could show you what it would look like from the front. But it's my house, it's my rules. We're gonna do it my way because I want to be able to see it from my kitchen window. So this is some absolutely beautiful native hemlock. Hemlocks are in our area are suffering from an insect called woody agilate, and it's not pretty to get rid of them, but we had some native hemlocks on this property, so I worked with an arborist named Bob Carey to help me treat those trees and the woody agulates after 2 seasons are gone. So these are beautiful drapey form of this, so we're going to use this in the region. Isn't this super cute? This one has a little bitty tiny pine cone on it. Oh, so sweet. I'm super excited to actually collect these little pine cones and put them out in my tiny forest. I would love, love, love to see these beautiful trees continue to grow. They remind me so much of my grandmother's house. She always had native hemlocks at her house and they were so pretty. So here, same thing. We're gonna remove some of these lower branches. That's gonna give us more area to shove it down in the soil. In this particular case, this branch doesn't look so good. Off with its head. We're not gonna use that one. Sometimes the stick is gonna be a little too long. That's fine, just trim it. Okay, so we've got a pretty good base going here, and now we're gonna fill in the middle. One of the best ways to do that is with your fillers, and in this case, we got several things to choose from. I love this golden mop, and so I gave my golden mop a small haircut yesterday, and these are gonna be used as the filler. I also took some cuttings of my holly. Now, most of the berries have been eaten off by the birds, but that's fine. That's what they're there for. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to move those lower limbs so I can get them down in the soil. Now, I really think small things look good masked up. So if you've got some small things like the holly limbs, really, really pack them in tight. Through the magic of the internet, I needed more golden mop, so I was able to go and trim a bit more. And we're just going to fill in the other side. I'm going to use some of the red twig dogwood. Now, the red twig dogwood that you see in the store is really straight. It looks really pretty. You can see this is what it really looks like, so it's going to require a bit of trimming. Now, when you've got something tall, measure it here. So how tall do we actually want it to be? So use this as your guide. This is where it's going to stick in the ground, so you need to leave a little extra and pop it. So I decided to change it up. Usually I do straight sticks. This time I decided to make it look like little miniature trees, which I think is kind of cute. So since it's Christmas, why not? Then we can do lots of fun things here. We can fill this with ornaments you're not using. In this case, I have some shatterproof ornaments. I highly recommend that you wire them in with some either twist ties like you would use on a garbage bag, or I also have some florist wire that I can tie them in. That way if it blows, the wind blows, they're not going to go flying out of the arrangement. You could also at this point add lights, you could add different little baubles that you might have. Again, I think it's really fun to use things that you have. And that's what this is all about, is really trying to do something inexpensive. So does that mean you need to go out to the store and buy anything? No, the whole purpose of this video was using things that you can find in your garden. So we're going to continue to decorate that way, and then I'll show you the final result. I'm super happy with the final result. In here, everything has come from my garden. It was boxwood, golden mop, red twig dogwood, allspice seeds, as well as hemlock. That's it. So it looks super pretty. It'll definitely be a conversation piece when people come over. I can bring them out on the porch with a little tiny fire right here on the porch. So it'll be something really nice to enjoy. In the other arrangement, let me walk you over there so you can see what we did. This one's really similar too. Here we've used pine cones. This is some of the grass seed heads. We've used hemlock, golden mop, and boxwood yet again. and I think it looks really pretty. We added a few ornaments to this one, as well as some little baubles I had that were hanging around that I'm not using from other arrangements. So I want to say to you, this is really supposed to be fun. You can tell I'm dressed very warmly. I will say that my ratchet pruners really were a star here because some of these limbs were a little bit larger. So if you could get yourself a pair of ratchet pruners, I really recommend that. Makes it a lot easier for hands to cut, and your hands won't get so tired so fast. I really hope that you're having a great holiday season. You don't have to have a lot to make really wonderful memories. This will be really fun to do with a child or grandchild or even your best friend. So I hope that you'll think about sprucing up. Now, be a thoughtful gardener. If you don't have this in your own yard, put out a 911 to your friends. I have a friend who makes living wreaths for other people, and she puts out a message to the community and says, hey, we'll come trim your bushes and trees if I can have the trimmings. What a great way to get free stuff. But do not walk into someone's garden and take it without their permission. Please be thoughtful. Happy holidays and garden thoughtfully. Take care.